Imagine commuting to an office where upon entering you pass by a rice paddy and broccoli field in the lobby. Sitting at your desk, a partition of fruit trees lives behind you. Above you are tomatoes. There's also a growing room as well as a rooftop garden, and a wall of green and flowers planted on the side of the building. If you happen to be an employee at Persona Group in downtown Tokyo, this is very much a reality. The building, a renovation project by Kono Designs, is 9 stories high with 43,000 square feet of green space that houses over 200 species of fruits, vegetables, rice, and other plant life, maintained and harvested by Persona employees with oversight from an agricultural specialist. Urban agriculture has become a growing trend for sustainable food sufficiency in Japan.
Japan is made up of 5 main islands and over 3,000 smaller islands. Climate varies from tropical in the southern islands to cool temperate in the northern islands. Tokyo, Japan's capital city, has 4 definite seasons, including a mild winter, hot humid summers, rainy spring, and in late summer to early fall, typhoons occur on the east coast. 3/4 of Japan's land is covered in mountains, with over 200 volcanoes scattered throughout. Because of the mountainous land, the majority of rivers in Japan are short with steep channel slopes and moderately sized alluvial plains. This causes large amounts of sediment to build up where the rivers flood and empty, making it unsafe to build homes in these areas due to the risk of floods and landslides. Since an estimated 60 of Japan's volcanoes are active, volcanic eruptions and earthquakes are fairly common. Large tsunamis can be caused when earthquakes occur, as they did in March 2011, causing devastating floods, nuclear power shutdowns, and thousands of casualties. Air pollution from power plant emissions results in acid rain and reduced lake water quality. Only about 11.3% of Japan's land is arable, most of which is located along the alluvial plains of the rivers. Rice farming is the most favorable in this area because of the easy access to water for irrigation. Japan's cities and towns make up 19% of the total land area, which means there is more land being used for urban development than agricultural use.
Population pressures are an issue for food security in Japan. There are about 126.4 million people in Japan, of which 25% are age 65 or older. 91% of the population is urban, 3.9% of the labor force is in agriculture. 1/4 of Japanese farmers are urban farmers. Traditional diets are quite healthy, and the shift to a Western diet, popular among the younger generation, is a growing concern. There's an issue because self-sufficiency of food in Japan is just over 30%. By comparison, the US, Australia, and Canada are over 100% self-sufficient in food production.
According to the USDA, agricultural imports were over $60 billion in 2013, accounting for 60% of its food sources. Ironically, the island nation is also the largest importer of seafood in the world.
Despite the catastrophic nuclear meltdown in Fukushima 3 years ago, Japan's government is still planning to proceed with reactivation of nuclear power plants, claiming it's an important source of electrical power. They stress the need to improve nuclear fuel recycling and intend to phase out nuclear power by the end of the 2030s. Nuclear contamination still affects a 20-mile radius around Fukushima, displacing over 150,000 people. Along with the dangers of radiation, decontamination includes removal of topsoil and cutting of trees, which greatly affects the ability to grow safe food. The urban heat island effect has also been of concern. In Tokyo, annual temperatures have risen by 3 degrees in the last century, and green roof policies have been implemented to counteract the effect. A policy in Tokyo requires that 20% of all new government buildings and 10% of all new private buildings must be converted to have green space roofing. It is estimated that if half the roofs in Tokyo were planted with gardens, daytime high temperatures in summer would fall by 0.84 degrees Celsius, which would save over $1 million in air conditioning costs daily.
In order to make urban agriculture more prominent in Japan, the younger generations need to get involved. Education programs in grade and high schools are great ways to introduce this type of farming to students and instill creativity into their everyday life. According to the newsletter Japan for Sustainability, in recent years an increasing number of people have become interested in farming through urban-rural exchanges, as a recreation or leisure activity, through education involving agricultural activities, or from observing the beneficial effects that gardening has on handicapped and elderly people.
Aquaponics began after the tragic tsunami in March 2011. The areas affected by the nuclear disaster caused by the tsunami and earthquake will leave radiation in the soil for decades, making it incapable for growing crops.
Usage of rain barrels is an efficient way to capture rainwater to be used in agriculture and gardening purposes versus traditional irrigation practices.
Solar energy has the potential to impact Japan's agricultural production, largely through the production of potable water from seawater through powering desalination plants. With groundwater running low and current freshwater sources running dry, desalination will play a large factor in ensuring Japan has plenty of water for the future.
Sustainable agriculture is a complex process that integrates ecological, economic, and social components to create a manageable yet adaptable, holistic, long-term system of production.
Urban agriculture is 3% more productive than the national average. Vertical farming, or using skyscrapers for growing plants and raising fish and poultry, could utilize wind power and solar energy while helping to ensure food security during typhoon season, a time when field crops could otherwise be devastated. Expanding the Green Roof Initiative, encouraging urban farming and aquaponics, both large and small scale, as well as using green technology and desalination, can further a sustainable food production system in Japan.